In this video, we're going to look at how to find the basic minor, major, and diminished chords in a minor key using the minor scale. This is part 3A in a series of basic music theory video lessons for guitarists. I've added timestamps in the description so you can skip to any section of the video. And to anyone that's new to my channel, I've tried to make this video effective on its own, independent from the rest of my content. However, I think it'd be useful to watch my previous video lessons to fully understand the concepts. Let's start with the minor scale formula. The minor scale formula is whole tone, half tone, whole tone, whole tone, half tone, whole tone, whole tone. A whole tone is equal to 2 frets and a half tone is equal to 1 fret. So the formula on one string is 2 frets, 1 fret, 2 frets, 2 frets, 1 fret, 2 frets, 2 frets. Let's start with this A note here on the open A string. 2 frets higher than that we have a B note, and then 1 fret higher we have C, 2 frets higher we have D, 2 frets higher we have E, 1 fret higher we have F, 2 frets higher we have G, and then 2 frets higher we have A again. I'll number these notes 1 to 7, and I'll put the note names underneath the fretboard here. So there's our scale, and here is our order of minor, major, and diminished chords in a minor key. So the first note is A, and the first chord in a minor key is minor. So the first chord would be A minor. So I'm just going to do an A minor open chord. The second note in the key is B, and the second chord in the sequence is diminished. So I'm going to apply a diminished chord shape to this B note, and we get a B diminished chord. The root note of the chord, which is this note here highlighted in orange, is generally going to be the lowest note in the chord and has to match the note in the scale. So we're applying chord shapes to the root note. And that's all I'm going to do with the rest of the chords. I'm finding out whether the chord is minor, major, or diminished by matching the scale degree, which is the number on the black dots of the scale, with a chord in the sequence on the left. And then I'm applying a minor, major, or diminished chord shape to the note in the scale. So let's do the next one. If number 3 is a C note, and the third chord in the sequence is major, we have a C major chord. And I'll use this major bar chord shape for C major. The next note is a D note, so this will be D minor, and I'm going to use this minor bar chord shape for D minor. And the next note in the scale is E, and this will be minor as well. I'll use the same minor bar chord shape that I did with D minor. So we have E minor. Then the next note is F, so this chord would be F major, and I'll use the same bar chord shape that I did with C before. The next note after that is G, so that would be G major, and I'll use the same bar chord shape again. And then the last note is A, so that's A minor, and that's basically chord number 1 again, just an octave higher. And there are all the basic minor, major, and diminished chords in the key of A minor. As I've said in my previous videos, these are not the only chords in the key. You can get the same chords in different places. So you're probably used to seeing A minor like this, but you could also play it like this. And you can get variations of these chords too. Instead of D minor, you could play D minor 7 in the same key, or instead of C, you could get C major 7. In this video, we're really just finding out whether the chord in the key is minor, major, or diminished, and not including any variations of the basic chords. If I was to include every single chord in the key, the video would take years to make, and it'd be several hours long. You could try this with a different scale shape as well, like this one here. These are all the same notes as the previous scale, just in different places. And you can pause the screen and try this for yourself if you want. Here's a guide that shows some of the chord shapes for the notes on the E string, some for the notes on the A string, and some for the notes on the D string. Zoom into this if it's a bit small, but basically the diagram shows the type of chord in the vertical columns and whether the root note is on the E, A, or D string in the horizontal columns. All you need to do is match the note in the scale with the chord on the list, and then use the correct shape for the string that you're on. I'm going to go through these now, so if you want to try and figure them out for yourself, then pause the video. I'll show you these quickly because they're going to have the same name as the chords we looked at previously in A minor, but some of them will be different shapes. So number 1 is A minor, number 2 is B diminished, number 3 is C major, number 4 is D minor, number 5 is E minor, number 6 is F major, number 7 is G major, and then we're back at number 1 again with A minor because this is also an A note. Here's a picture of all those chords together. So you might have heard terms like a 2-5-1 chord progression and not really known what that means. In this key, that would be B diminished, E minor, and then A minor. It wouldn't even have to be those exact chords. You could do B diminished 7 or E minor 7 or A minor 7. There's lots of other ways you could play a 2-5-1 in this key. And if you're not sure what note you're playing within the scale, type in guitar neck diagram on Google Images to check. Once you're familiar with where some of those notes are, you can move the scale to a different position and find out all the basic chords in a different key. So I know that fret 3 on the E string is a G note, so I can move the scale so that we start it on fret 3. And then I can find out all the basic chords in the key of G minor as well. You could use the same chord shapes that I used, or find different versions of the minor, major, and diminished shapes. Or you could start on a G note and use the formula we used before and find out the chords that way instead. You can use these methods to find all the basic chords in every minor key. And that's how to find the basic minor, major, and diminished chords in any minor key using the minor scale. My next video is going to be all about how the chords in minor and major keys are related to each other. So if you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe.